Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of my favorite 400 sports cards. This is Red of Half Century Collecting Sports Cards. These are the cards featured last time we were doing a feature in this series. We are right now at number 253, so mid-200s in the countdown. This is an old cigarette card, Old Judge 1887 card. Cards were one of the first to come in cigarettes. This one, if I ever send off for grading, will probably show trimmed, as it looks like it has been, but it's a card I've had for many years, and this is of Sliding Billy Hamilton, one of the best players of the 19th century. He was a .344 career hitter, 63 WAR player. Here he's shown as a rookie with the Kansas City Cowboys of the American Association. Now, he was one of the fastest players of his era, similar to 21st century Billy Hamilton. These cards kind of both depict Billy Hamilton's catching fly balls near the wall. New Billy Hamilton gets a glove. Old Billy Hamilton doesn't. Old Billy Hamilton also looks like he's more on stage with a curtain in the background. But I think still a pretty cool card. Now, Sliding Billy Hamilton was, in 1894, a .403 hitter. That year had a .521 on base percentage, a .533 slugging percentage, 100 stolen bases, which is only his fourth highest total, 225 hits, and what is still a Major League record, 198 runs scored in one season, and did that in just 132 games. Now, he was the first player ever to start as a leadoff man, hitting a home run for his team, and then finishing the game with a walk-off home run. Only 4 players since have done it, and the last one to do it is Ian Kinsler from the Texas Rangers. He also, until this man, Lou Brock, was the all-time stolen base king. As you can see on this card, gives him credits him with 937 career stolen bases. Now, they say because the rules were a little different, they still give Lou Brock the crown. Brock ended up with 938 in his career. And Hamilton's, I don't know if they adjusted it looking at new rules or whatever, but Baseball Reference has him at 914 career stolen bases, which is still next to Rickey Henderson and Lou Brock. So Billy Hamilton of their Kansas City Cowboys. Next on our list, we've got one of the great players of all time, showing his last playing days card. Amazingly accumulated 64 WAR in only 10 seasons with the Dodgers. And this is a 1956 Topps of Jackie Robinson. 3 times Jackie led the league in WAR. And if you look back at my greatest second base episode, second baseman of all time, Jackie came out at number 4. Here at the end of his career, he is listed as a third baseman, which he played the last couple of years. Now, for this card, getting a 1, I think this is the kind of card you want. If you get a 1, it's basically perfectly centered, has just great picture registration. See him sliding into home there. That would be Johnny Padres, number 45, probably coming up to bat next. You can see the back of the card. Looks about as nice as it can throughout. And the reason it gets a 1, and it deservedly so gets a 1, is because of these little marks that were, I'm guessing, thumbtacks or something that was kind of pushed in on the side on both the top and the bottom of the card. Probably putting it on a bulletin board, something like that. But really doesn't detract a whole lot from the beauty. That is just a cool card of Jackie Robinson. All right, next we've got a 1954 Bowman, Robin Roberts. Now, 54, I still think must have been the coolest year for baseball cards. You've got Red Heart, dog food cards. You got Dandy potato chip cards. You got Wilson Franks. You got Mother's Cookies. And then the Topps and Bowman cards were both nice. This one showing a youthful Robin Roberts in the heart of his career, where he basically had some big years pitching. You can see this year here, 23-win season, 347 innings. Talks about, last sentence there, lives on a street named Robin Hood Road for Robin Roberts. Pretty cool. But Roberts was big-time pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. He had 6 straight 20-win seasons, led the league 5 of those years. And in those 6 years, he won 138 games. He was also a workhorse, leading the league in innings pitched 5 consecutive years, strikeouts twice. And even though most of his career was with a team that wasn't that great in the Phillies, other than that Whiz Kids 1950 season, he still won 286 career games. And that best 1952 season, show the 52 Topps card, pretty beat up. But that season won 28 games with a 2.59 ERA and 86 career WAR guy. Robin Roberts. All right, next we're going back to the 19th century. We've got an Allen and Ginter card from 1887-88, and this is of John Montgomery Ward, here with the Providence Grays. Now actually not here with the Providence Grays, but he played earlier with the Providence Grays in 1878. And that year as a pitcher, he went 22-13 with a 1.59 ERA. And then you go to the next year, just age 19 in 1879, won 47 games. That year he started 60 games, pitched in 70, threw 587 innings. And the next year even threw more innings than that. And so you can imagine why at age 24 and 7 years in the league, he was done as a pitcher. Although they said he injured his arm running the bases. Now this card is pretty worn. And you can see the back. Back actually is a lot nicer, where they showed what they did for cards for Allen and Ginter. There's 10 baseball players, and you got some oarsmen, you got wrestlers, you got billiard players, pool players, rifle shooters, and pugilists, all pictured on these Allen and Ginter cards. Now, Monty Ward, after those 7 pitching years, went on to become a really good shortstop and then second baseman. And actually this year here, this 1887 season, he hit 338 with 111 stolen bases. In his career, he was a 275 hitter. And then when you add the hitting and the pitching together, he ended up with 62 WAR and made the Hall of Fame in 1964 through the Veterans Committee. He also, in the middle of his career, became a lawyer. And he, along with Curt Flood, was one to unsuccessfully fight baseball's reserve clause. All right, next, trying to feature a vintage Hall of Famer, or all of the vintage Hall of Famers in these top 400. This is our Tony Perez entry. This is his first solo card. He was featured on a rookie card in 1965, right there. But Tony was the slugging first baseman of that big red machine. He finished with 379 home runs, 54 WAR. Best year was 1970. When he hit 40 homers, 129 RBIs, hit 317. And we'll show the back. I like the 66 backs. I think the color on those cards is really cool. Tony Perez. Okay. Next, we are going back to pre-war. 1933. It's a Gaudy card. Gaudy gum of Billy Herman, the Cubs second baseman. Here he's only 23 years old. He probably had his better years the next couple years after that, both 1935 and 36. That both those years he had 57 triples, or not triples, doubles, 57 doubles. This 35 year he was 4th in MVP. The next year in 36 he was 3rd in MVP. And then later in his career, 1947, he ends up with the Milwaukee Braves, gets traded to the Pittsburgh Pirates, and became a manager right after he got traded. And then he said as a manager, he said, man, I wasn't too happy because one of the guys I actually got traded for, Bob Elliott, was the MVP of the league that next year, playing for the Milwaukee Braves. And I just wanted to show that Bob Elliott card because I think that's just an awesome card. That is his 52 Topps. Just love the color with the sky in the background, the players playing catch on the green field, and that cool Boston Braves uniform. So I had to throw that in there. And then as we're going to 52, I'll show here he's a coach. So he was a manager, then a coach, and then he became manager later, Billy Herman. All right, and then last featured card of the day, we've got our rookie card, 1960 Topps of Carl Yaskel. Now, this is a card that I still remember acquiring back in the late 1980s. I set up a few shows as a dealer, selling probably more new cards, but I'd be happy to trade with anyone for some older stuff. And this is one of the deals I made, was getting this rookie card. Now, Yastrzemski really didn't even play this season, 1960. His first year was 1961. And then he played until the early 80s, so I was lucky enough to probably see him his last decade of play, holding that bat way up high, coming back down with that vicious swing. Played a really good left field. He ended up winning 7 Gold Gloves in his career, 18 All-Star appearances, and of those, his best year had to have been 1967, when he was a Triple Crown winner, led the Red Sox coming back, beating the Twins in the final series, getting to the World Series. He, that season, besides winning the Triple Crown, won MVP, and he had an amazing 12.5 WAR. That's one of the highest single-season WAR seasons anyone has had. He also led the league in WAR the next year, 1968. Cool card. And again, 1970. So anybody who leads the league in WAR 3 times was one heck of a player. I also wanted to show, just thought that was one of my favorite Yaz cards. I had to plug that in there. Even though it's the same picture as his 68 card, a 69 just really pops. And then one of my other favorite Yaz cards towards the end of his career, I just like the look of that card with the fans in the stands, packed, with him batting in 1980 there. So we'll finish with Yaz, 1960. And with that, I thought we'd also show what a 1960 pack looks like. So that is a Topps 5-cent, 5 cards in there, pack from 1960. Who knows if there may be a Yaz in that pack. So here's the cards that we featured for the day. And a last look at last times. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you again next week.